Hola a todos. Welcome back to Uno Souls. I'm Philip Johnson here with the founder, Brigida Toruño. Hi, Brigida.
Hello, Philip. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing
Great.
well.
Good.
And here we are towards the end of 2021. And similar to last year, we are going to be talking about some silver linings for
Yes.
the year. And I know we both follow Young Pueblo on probably many of the social channels. But he put out a list called The Unforgettable Truths from 2021.
Hmm.
And we've decided to pull out a couple of those that resonate with each of us and just, talk about them and what they mean to us. So why don't you go ahead and kick it off, actually? Which one resonated the most with you?
Yeah, Philip. Yeah, thanks a lot. I he in this unforgettable truths list, he had 11 different items, and I felt like I could talk about each one that resonated with me in some way. But I chose two of them. One of them is that your healing comes first. And the second one is boundaries will nourish you.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are the ones that resonated for me. How about for you?
Well, for me, I also chose two. The first one, heavy emotions are temporary.
Mm.
And the second one, self awareness helps you react less.
Mm. Two
For
really good
me, those
ones.
two sort of go hand in hand, or I guess I feel as if they go hand in hand. Um, the first one, I have to read it again. Heavy emotions are temporary. I think that I really have a tendency to hold on to heavy things, things that maybe happen that aren't the nicest, things that, could be negative, disappointments, frustrations. And I do find that I hold on to those things, for longer than I do the positive things or the things that I, should be celebrating or accomplishments or achievements, big or small. And for me in 2021, I really actively tried to change that to make more of a balance, right? So holding space for the things that are heavy, but really understanding that they are temporary.
Mm.
And they can be more temporary if you allow them to take up the space that they need at the time instead of sort of shoving them down. And then also focusing on the things that are achievements and sitting in those and celebrating those in the same amount of time or more than you do with things that are heavy. So that's definitely something for me that I realize is a really important truth from 2021 and definitely one I want to bring forward.
Yeah, that's great, Philip. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I can definitely resonate. It resonates for me, and I hear what you're saying. I think from the Buddhist principles, what I've learned through the years is the whole idea of impermanence, and it's not an easy concept, but it's definitely the idea with this of emotions. If if we allow them to sit with us, and welcome them in. We've talked about this before,
Yeah.
that we realize, oh, it's gone. I mean, it could come back, 5 minutes later or a day later,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
sort of that process of working with them, and definitely not easy though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to hear more about one of your choices.
Okay. So I'll start with the one, your healing comes first. So 2021 was definitely a year, um, of, I'm going to say, growth for me,
Yeah.
because I had to work on a lot of healing, from an emotional perspective and a physical perspective, because I had problems, that I had with my back. So,
Mm.
so it was definitely something where I had to put myself first. And that's never an easy thing necessarily for me to do. It's definitely a new muscle that I've trying to work on. But I really love what I love Young Pueblo, like you already mentioned, and I have both of his books. I don't know if you could see it with my background, but
A little bit there.
yeah, this one is called Inward, and there's one of his quick poems, because they're short and meaningful and powerful. Is this one about healing yourself? And he says, healing yourself will ask more of you, more rest, more self-love, more letting go, more time for learning, more space for transformation, more honesty
Mm,
about how you feel, more time developing good habits, more courage to try new practices, more faith in yourself and the process, more time cultivating your inner peace. So, I mean, this
mm,
every single line of this is so meaningful to me, and it's not easy. It's not easy to work on healing, but it's life changing when you do. And so, I have to say that I'm going to call that a silver lining for 2021. What's
yeah, I absolutely. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was going to say, and what's your next one?
Oh, well, I wanted to. I guess I just wanted to reflect more on his writing, but we could spend hours doing that. And
Yeah,
I think you have a couple others that we'll be hearing too. And
yeah,
I also know his second book is called Clarity and Connection,
yeah,
which you have there, and
that too.
you have the blue one.
And you see
I
all
need to
my
get
yellow
that one.
stickies with them because
Yes.
I love them and look at them so much.
Yeah, he has a way with words. So my second choice is self-awareness helps you react less. And for me, what this means to me is, and this is something that I've been thinking a lot about and doing, sort of just work on in my relationships in general, friendships, family, um, is being self-aware of how I want, basically how I would want to be supported in certain situations. And then also being aware of how the other person needs me to show up for them in that situation, relationship, just maybe every day, or maybe there is something that is a hardship. So for me, being self-aware can mean a lot of different things, but for me, it specifically means it has to relate with those types of interactions between people. And then I find when I am more thoughtful about, what would work for me or what would work for others, then when things do come up that cause friction or tension or misunderstandings, that I do find that I am reacting less. And I guess for me, by reacting less, I don't mean not reacting, but I do mean taking a beat before reacting to ask myself, if this is this how I want to show up in this reaction, or is there another way that I can respond for myself or for the other person. So definitely something for me in 2021 that I've been more aware of, cognizant of, more self-aware of. But it's going to be something that I keep working on and bring into 2022. It's definitely a silver lining for me, though, because it's really helped me to also slow down as well,
Mm.
just in the day to day, and then also, emotionally, mentally. So for me, that those 6 words mean all of that, and they just, they connect into a lot of other different things. But I think it's been really helpful.
Yeah,
So
that's great. Yeah, that's so important, and I feel like it's a lifetime journey. That's how I feel for me. To continue to be self-aware, and in everything that I do, and like you said, in relationships, and how I am with myself, you know? Yeah. So that's great. Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing
yeah.
that.
But I am going to be honest, because I think that the last option, your last option, the one in our discussion that we're going to be talking about boundaries nourishing you, I'm excited about it because I think that boundaries are really difficult to draw, for other people, but then also even within yourself, to give yourself your own boundaries that you won't cross or that you will cross. So why don't you read it to us again? What is that line?
Yeah. So Young Pueblo says boundaries will nourish you. So
Mm,
that's a really big one for me. And I have to be honest that I haven't really understood what that meant until maybe, and I'm still not sure that I do or that I'm doing it correctly. But probably just recently, last year or two, really, to really understand what that means. And because it is, when I do set boundaries, it's about taking care of myself. And I have a quote here that maybe explains it a little bit. At least it resonated with me. This is by an author. Her name is Anna Taylor. And she said, love yourself enough to set boundaries. Your time and energy are precious. You get to choose how you use it. You teach people how to treat you by deciding what you will and won't accept from them. And it was
mm,
like, whoa, yeah, that's, I feel like that's really what it's about. And I think that's the part, like, if you're a people pleaser, a person that wants to say yes all the time, which has been something that I've had to learn to not do, then then that's what it's about, because you say yes even if you're not really feeling the yes. And what ends up happening is I'm depleting my own energy, and
right.
leaving myself with an empty cup. And it really, in the end, it's not good for me, and it's not good for the other people. But it's really, I mean, boundaries, I feel like it's this complex issue, right? Because
Mhm,
it entails so many parts of us, including like what we learned in childhood, what
mm,
was mirrored to us by our parents, by our family, by our friends. It's about our own validation. It's about our self-expression and self-esteem, and our respect for ourselves and others. And that's been a
mm.
difficult concept for me to understand, that it's okay to put myself first. Boy, it's a challenging concept. Um, and there's another boundary quote from Brene Brown, and she
Yeah,
says, compassionate people ask for what they need. They say no when they need to. And when they say yes, they mean it. They're compassionate because their boundaries keep them out of resentment. Big word, resentment, right? Because that's
yeah,
what can happen. It builds inside until you explode one day.
yeah, yeah. I I think both of those quotes are so insightful, along with everything that you have shared. And for me, that's definitely something I'm going to have to work on in 2022.
Mm,
Especially because I also want to be a people pleaser,
mhm.
and professionally or with friends and family. And sometimes it's okay just to take time for yourself, or yeah, to just simply say no. But I have a hard
Yeah.
time doing it. Um, I might be able to do it, but then in my head, I struggle with it a lot afterwards.
Mm,
So it's one thing to be able to say, this is my boundary. And then it's another thing to get stuck in your head about it for months, to wonder if this is okay, or is it, negatively affecting my relationship with this person. And so that's definitely something that I want to say excited, but I'm looking forward to working on in 2022 maybe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
great.
absolutely.
And just to close off with a boundary quote from Young Pueblo, since he's the one who inspired us with this list.
Yes, and if you're listening, Young Pueblo, hello. Hopefully this
Yes.
is getting to you.
Hello,
We'd love
Young
to have you
Pueblo.
on and have a chat.
Yes, we would love that. This is from his Inward book, page 39, and it says, reminder, you can love people and simultaneously not allow them to harm you. You know, I just really love that, because we are kind of what that other explanation is. We're allowing others to harm us when we're just saying, oh yes, I'll do that, and in the end it's harming us, and in the end it's harming them. So I'm so glad
Yeah.
that we got to talk about this, and our silver linings of 2021. And I'm looking forward to 2022, and to be able to continue to work on these things.
Yeah, me too. It'll be the 3rd year of Uno Souls, which is very exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting. I'm very grateful to
Yeah.
you, and for what we share, and what we're putting out to our listeners. And we always look forward to getting feedback from our listeners.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yes. And everyone have a very great end of 2021. And, we'll see you back here in January next year. And why don't you close this out, Brigida?
Yes. Again, thank you everyone for listening, and we're open to suggestions on topics and that you want to listen to, and people that you want us to chat with. And again, thank you so much, Philip, for your support. And I'm so glad that we're working on this together.
Me too. Absolutely.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Feliz Año Nuevo.
Thank you so much for listening to Uno Souls Chat. You can find us at www.unosouls.com and on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I would love to hear from you if you would like to chat with me. Have a beautiful week, and see you at the next episode.